China recently released the latest economic data. A very strong start in January and February, forecasting a robust and promising year. In particular, let's look at some fresh first quarter data of foreign trade to get a sense how busy Chinese companies have been expanding overseas lately. According to the Ministry of Commerce and the State Administration of Foreign Exchange, in the first months of the year, outbound direct investment, or ODI, reached 121 billion yuan. That's equivalent to 4 billion flowing out every single day. Customs data show that in the first 2 months, China's total import and export reached higher than 1,000 billion US, a historical new high. And the global AI boom drove some 70% year-on-year increase in China's IC exports. And China is not only exporting goods, but also patents. In the first 2 months, there were over 40 license deals for new drugs, totaling more than 50 billion US. That's already nearly a quarter of last year's total volume. Chinese enterprises have completed the phase 1.0 of internationalization. That's selling products overseas, and phase 2, having capacity over abroad. Now, they're riding the surge that is resource allocation and transnational operations. If you've been following this year's Chinese government's work report, you may have noticed a more proactive stance on business expansion abroad. In previous years, the focus was on encouraging companies to go global. But this year's a new comprehensive outline includes guide enterprises in optimizing resource allocation on the global market, integrated development of trade and investment, and expanding the cross-border use of renminbi. So to put it simply, previously the government urged companies to go sell your products abroad, and now it's advising to put down roots overseas. Behind this is a harsh reality. Tariff war were treacherous, and the US, the biggest consumer market in the world, were still forcing supply chain to reshore. However, Chinese companies have managed against the odds. In 2025, ASEAN and the European markets become our largest and second largest trading partners. In the first 2 months of 2026, our imports and exports within jumped by nearly 20%. And not accidental, but powered by cities like Chongqing, a national logistic hub. The China-Europe Railway Express moved a staggering 352,000 TEU in the period, up 25% from last year. And in 2025, for the first time, China's exports of industrial robots have surpassed the import. We used to buy robots from others to build cars. Now others are buying Chinese robots and Chinese cars. The news rate, electric vehicles, lithium batteries, and solar cells are growing more than 4 times faster than the overall exports. China's foreign trade is undergoing a dual transformation in both what it sells and who's buying. But going multinational is never for the faint of heart. On March 16th, we see the news that Chinese e-commerce giant Jingdong.com officially launched its European operation under the brand Joybuy. But this very name has undergone 3 iterations over the decade. The first Joybuy, launched in 2015, operated on direct shipping, where delivery can take weeks. That cannot compete with Amazon's next-day delivery from local warehouses. And it led JD to shut down Joybuy B2C operations completely. In 2022, JD introduced a new brand, Ochama, in the Netherlands, with significant investment in automated warehouse and the pickup and delivery networks across Europe. But in April 2025, JD relaunched Joybuy as an e-commerce platform in the UK, Ochama in continental Europe, Joybuy in the UK. Consumer recognition just fractured. In August 2025, JD consolidated its brand strategy. It phased out Ochama and migrating all the user data to Joybuy. At the same time, it narrowed its market focus to just Western Europe with the strongest purchasing power and densest logistic networks. Finally, March, we saw the official launch of the Unify Joybuy brand. From cross-border shopping to local warehousing, from fragmented branding to unification, from a blanket approach to strategic focus. This reiteration traces the growth of Jingdong's capabilities as a multinational retailer. And it's not just e-commerce. There are also bigger moves in manufacturing as well. The factory Changan automobile, built with a lot of money in Rayong, Thailand, not only supplies Southeast Asia but also can leverage free trade agreements to export to UK and Australia. And Changan's latest gasoline vehicles launched in Mexico. Although a boost engine customized for American road conditions, the development actually relies on talent based in Chongqing and the UK. And on March 26, Changan made another step in its expansion strategy. It officially started production at a new plant in Anápolis, Brazil. Global R&D, global manufacturing, and global sales. There were actually a lot of early signs of this way of search. By 2025, we know that more than half of Asia-listed companies actually generated their revenues from abroad. Moreover, more than 500 listed companies. This chunk now accounts for half of their total revenue. However, by comparison, we know that mature multinational corporations can generate some 70 to 80% of their total revenue. So Chinese companies are still trying to cross their threshold. If going global 1.0 is about trade, and 2.0 is about production capacity, and 3.0 is about playing the global game. Joybuy having a same-day delivery in Netherlands, Changan using R&D in UK to serve Mexico. Maybe, in the end, only a multinational brand that's truly rooted thrive across market. Look around, there are rising tensions in the Middle East, and the Strait of Hormuz tightens. How do you navigate the volatility in energy and raw material costs? How do you expand into emerging markets beyond the Middle East? Next decade's opportunities and risks are side by side. Is your business ready as a global player?